Well, here we've got our stock in focus, and this one's a really, one that hit pretty home for, close to home for us, because this is one that we recommended as a short, and it's down 17% today and down about 117 points. And this is one that, to me, really was one that kind of made sense if you look at it. And we usually kind of go with this theme, but I hope it's still interesting for some of you, but to me, I think it's a very powerful way of looking at charts. And I don't think, everybody's so concerned about what pattern is something in and what's that. Is that a double bottom, a double top, a continuation? Those things are all well and good and important, but sometimes when you just look at the price action, and the problem with those patterns, sometimes they become different patterns because, they can be, you may think it's one thing, but now it turns into another. But the price action, it can really tell you a great deal of stuff, a great deal of things if you just kind of pay attention to what's going on here and certain tests that it needs to do. If you look at Priceline, and it's a great company. When I started initially looking at it, I started saying to myself, maybe I'm crazy here because everybody loves this stock, But I've been shorting this stock periodically at many different ranges. You could see here, I was shorting in here, we covered in there, shorted again, we shorted just before the break up here, but what the real important consideration in here is that you could see that this takes this move here, but it makes this double top in here. So you see it trying to really break higher, can't break any higher, and then you see it makes the low. It comes into the 50-day moving average, takes the bounce there, makes the next attempt higher, but can't break higher. And then you see the failure here. Now this is after a very long, big move, as you just saw, as it was running sideways for a while, and it's kind of like a last gasp. For those that do Elliott wave, a lot of times you see those sideways action. Those are very indicative of a complex, corrective wave or fourth wave in a longer bullish move. So if you kind of look at it in that way and you say, okay, well, prior to this, look at this move. It's just very simple here. You can even say, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and now you know that you're at completion in the wave, and then you see this big one wave, then you see the pullback here, that's your 2.